Hi, today I'm going to be talking about a digital tablet, a medicine that is digital, that we swallow and is inside our body, that is traceable component outside of the body digitally. The main one in use in several countries around the world, but primarily America, is called Abilify MySight. Is this something you're familiar with? Hi, welcome back to Wallflowers. So today I'm talking about the digital pill. So the digital pill is actually a tablet with a digital component within it. So in 2017, the FDA approved this pill under the pharmaceutical branding of Abilify MySight. Abilify MySight. Now, Abilify is known by another name. It's known by ripiprazole. Ripiprazole. And the MySight part is the digital component. So when you take Abilify MySight, you swallow it and it goes down into your stomach and dissolves. It actually sticks the digital component of it to the side of your body, and you're actually required to wear a body patch, so a patch on the outside of your body. Once the tablet has dissolved and the component triggers to the patch, it will then signify on the patch connection, which means you have actually taken the pill with the digitalization in it. You can then be medically checked to make sure you have taken the tablet. If you haven't, there will be implications. So far, these drugs have been issued to people with schizophrenia, mental disorders, etc. Now, on the face of that, you might think, well, that's a fantastic idea. Making sure physical proof that schizophrenics have actually taken their medicine, helping avoid behavior that may take place if they don't take their medication regularly. And we can all sit here and we can all say, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Now, with any concept, there's always the major positive. But this tablet is not just used for mental disabilities, shall we say. It is also progressively being used, excuse me, for other things. The major use of Abilify MySight is within the USA. And on a little bit of research that I quickly did today on the numbers of usage within the USA, it exceeds 1 million users. You may say, well, that's not a lot considering how many millions of people there are throughout the whole of the USA. But this, I fear, living in the UK and now coming into the digital era, where we are now being told here in the UK, soon we will not be able to work without digital ID. We will not be able to possibly leave the country, work, maybe feed our families, etc., without digital ID. And we're being told at the moment this is mandatory. So mandatory broken down basically means you still have a choice to an extent. We really want to forcefully encourage you to do this, but you can still renege. You can still have a choice that you don't want to do it. Now, this is before it's in place. I fear personally that that mandatory choice may not be there very long, and soon it will be a forceful non-choice, forced into having it against your wishes, maybe. I don't know. I suspect that, and that's a personal belief for myself. I know the digital ID here in the UK is all a process for us to use a digital wallet. And the digital wallet will be the digital ID in itself, and it will be in our phones. And if we don't conform to society here in the UK, people get sent to prison for things such as Facebook posts, for what some people may class as lesser crimes, while the big crimes go unpunished. Companies not paying taxes, drug dealers, sex offenders, etc. Things, major things we know that are going on in the world. And I feel the digital wallet is the main format of the digital ID. So we may be refused to buy meat in the shops because we've had our quota for that week or the month. We may be refused to buy fuel for our car because of that, etc. Now, bringing in the digital pill, I feel that may work alongside the digital wallet for a short period of time. We know in 2020 we were all mandatory advised to take a certain medication and to keep taking those certain medications time and time again. I don't know whether the components that are in that tablet that can be triggered to say yes or no if you've taken it on the patch that you wear when you're outside of your body can actually be included in one of those medication injections. And if so, and you haven't got visible proof that you haven't taken it, there will be repercussions. And I believe eventually the wallet may disappear and you will be the ID proof. So you will be a walking battery, a walking ID. If you haven't got the mark of the beast in your hand, in your forehead, you'll have it inside your intestines because you have taken either an injection or a pill to prove that you are conforming. Now, yes, at this stage, this is just my opinion, and I'm not trying to scare anyone, but I'm saying, are you aware this pill is even there? In the UK, Abilify My Sight was refused to be put on the market because when they traced and investigated, there were certain markers people weren't happy with at the time. So they're called yellow cards. And as I say, the bulk of the people that have tried this medication have been mental health schizophrenics and people with those disabilities. And bulk times it was witnessed that these people suddenly started having gambling habits, overeating habits, overspending habits, and a very high sex drive. And those markers were so visible that the UK classed them as very strong yellow cards in connection with that medication and refused to implement it here. But the US decided they would have it there. Now, I know we have a wide audience here, but primarily a lot of the followers in this channel are UK or American, and we do have Canadians, Indonesians, and people from all over the world, but the majority of the people on this channel are UK or American. And I don't know if our American cousins are aware of what this is. there are strong tendencies to gambling, eating, spending, sex drive, and who knows what else can be added into the direction of this pill that people are actually putting inside their bodies, because it is triggerable. The evidence proves itself. Why would the UK say we're not taking it for that reason? It can be suggestible. So if they are just the prototype suggestibles, who knows, once it's connected to the wallet or further on down the line when it's a main trigger, what things could be suggestible. I do have opinions. I do think of things outside the box. Not everybody agrees with what I say, and that's why I always say this is my own personal opinion. I have, for approximately 14 years now, been aware of the New World Order, been aware of different things that may be brought into place. And originally I thought it would never be in my lifetime. And slowly, since just before 2020, I've realised it's here and now. It's in my lifetime, and we're going through it, and these things are happening now. The mark of the beast, whether it's in a tablet form inside your body, whether it's the grain of rice implant you have in your hand or in your head, whichever way it is, these things are here with us now. It's not just biblical. It is, we have got to stand up and say we don't want these things, and we have to. I personally don't want it, and I know there are many people that feel like me. If you don't, we can agree to disagree. We don't need to fall out. There's too many of us that have fell out, but we need to work out what the dramatic changes are in our future. We're losing cash, everything's going to be digital, and there are going to be so many different changes within the next 5 to 10 years of humanity. Will we still be human with this digitalization within our body? And if so, at what percentage? There's so many increases in the AI world at the moment. We don't know half the time if we're talking to a bot on the computer or we're talking to a real person. We don't know how many people are going to lose their jobs within the next 5 to 10 years because bots are going to be able to do those jobs for them. There are so many implications of how the world would change in the next few years, and we're either dragged along, we either refuse, or we either educate ourselves and find out which things we need to avoid and how we're going to survive. If they're the only way we can get food, if they're the only way we can provide for our families, how are we going to do it without? At the moment, I don't have the answers. I just know I'm a prepper and I'm trying to provide, but I can't do that for the rest of our lives. I can only do that for a few years. What do we do after that? I still have bills to pay. I still have a vehicle to run. I still have a family to look after. We have to survive. We still need electricity. If everything is generated through identification, what do we do next if we're the refusers? I don't know. But this pill thing, I don't know, it's really opened my eyes with the enforced, or shall I say, severely suggested mandatory suggestions for what went through in 2020, what may come again. Now we know there are digital components in medication, whether it be tablets or injections. I don't know. I'd like to say, there's a solid end and some answers at the end of this video, but I'm basically just information sharing. If you can share any information, if you're familiar or you have any suggestions for anything else to look at. But yeah, do your own due diligence. What's your thoughts on digital ID and where it can go? Are you for, are you against? Our government's telling us, it's to stop illegal immigrants. That's never going to happen. When are they going to follow the rules? When are they going to listen just because another rule's being put in place? doesn't happen. That's why they're called illegal immigrants, because they'll find a way around it. If my husband can't work, I don't know what we'll do for the foreseeable. What would you do if every member in your family can't work and you don't get benefits because you haven't conformed? I don't know. I don't know. Okay, just me thinking out loud today, really. Just me trying to share some information I've come across. And to think, about the implications that medication and digitalization can actually implant thoughts, addictions, and habits, and it's been proved. I think pretty soon the UK will accept, amplify my site. And that's not the only medication that is digitalized. They are the first company to do it. It was done by a Japanese company in conjunction with an American company. The American company went bankrupt and the Japanese company retained everything, all the digitalization and all the medical side of this joint pill and patch scenario. But they won't use it in Japan. Japan aren't using it. Their primary target at the moment is the USA, and they're succeeding because over 1 million people are actually walking around and using both the patch and the pill together. And I think it won't be long before it'll be the UK too. Okay, thank you so much for joining me today. Please take care, don't have nightmares, and remember you're loved. Bye bye.